Sorry, I don't know. Something might be off with my internet.
That's right.
Sorry.
We're getting it.
Something was going on with it earlier.
Anyways, we're just not getting better as a team.
No.
Things are not getting better. It's very hard to watch.
Yeah, I mean, early on, it's kind of just been the same story for years where we kind of have like one good drive maybe early, and it's like, oh man, we can keep going with this, or maybe a stop, or whatever it is early, but after that, it kind of goes downhill quick.
Yeah, real quick. I kind of mentioned it's kind of like deja vu. Like we're seeing the same things over and over again, and
it's pretty tough when you throw a wide open pass to a Rainier Johnson who come out, and that could have gone for a big play, maybe all the way, but at least a big play. But it's a drop, and I mean, it's a little behind him, whatever. But
I think
2 plays later, Casey gets knocked out of the game, throws an interception, and the game's pretty much over.
Yeah, well, I think that play behind. I know, Patty. We don't got our mics on today. We're getting it quick.
We're just winging it today.
I think the thing with Ramir, I think that pass is behind him. He's so fast. Trying to catch that ball behind him is going to be pretty tough.
I know. It's just like, man, you just can single that one play out too. You know, if he catches that pass, this Casey Thompson get hurt 2 plays later.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's easy to say that after the fact, but.
Here's my deal with our quarterback situation. We had Adrian Martinez, who, yes, we had a lot of offensive line problems with him. He's been thriving out at K-State. He's hurt, so he didn't play yesterday. Missed a lot of the game last week, but is Casey really an upgrade? We have an immobile quarterback who is still throwing interceptions on untimely times in the game.
He holds on to the ball too long.
He does. He doesn't know when to get rid of it. I don't know. At first, I'm like, yeah, it's a huge upgrade.
I thought so too.
But part of the problem too is we're targeting one guy. Trey Palmer's our target, and so guess who's not a threat? Washington's not a threat. Vokalec's not a threat. Chancellor's not a threat. Alante Brown's not a threat. Oliver Martin's not a threat. We have these guys that are talented at the wideout position and the tight end position. We're not using them because they want to throw to Trey Palmer all the time. And so that's his first look. By the time he gets to his second look, he's getting hit.
Or throw the ball. Just throw the ball all the time.
Yeah. Well, shoot, we had a nice little dump pass or something the first play on our possession. We get a first down. Then we have a 22-yard run from Grant. And then we throw the ball twice, and then we throw an interception. It's like, don't go away from the run game so fast. And I think that's going to be Whipple's downfall, is he wants a pro-style quarterback. And who was it? Who mentioned that before he came to Nebraska? His old coach at Pitt, Narduzzi, said he's a throw-first coach.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. And I don't like it. And I know a lot of Husker fans probably don't like it either. We want to see you run the damn ball.
It's not really Big Ten football, I guess. I mean, it's not success in the Big Ten. I mean, Ohio State, they sling it around, but that's kind of on a completely different level than really anybody else in the country. So you have to have, 4 or 5 star every player, every main position, which Ohio State does. But what works in this league is run the ball and play defense. A Brett Bielema style team, and that's kind of what that's what it looked like yesterday, and that's what beat us.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I don't know that we're getting better, Dan, to be honest. I don't think we're getting worse, but we're not getting better. Like, offensively, we should be scoring so many more points.
Yeah, I mean, 9 points in a game that we were in the game with 8 to 10 minutes left. I mean, that was another thing I saw somebody said, well, the game's over now when we punted with 9, 10 minutes left and we were down by 3 scores. I mean, we were down by 17 points. It's 3 scores. I don't know why we didn't just go for it. I mean, if you don't get it, the game's over anyway. They got the ball and they ran the entire clock out.
20 to 9 at halftime, and my thought was this game's over.
Yeah.
Why did I feel that way? Because we're not a team that's going to come from behind and win a game.
Well,
we're just not going to.
We can't stop them enough times. Even when we've been able to score, we haven't been able to stop them enough.
Well, and our defense did enough. I mean, really,
they actually didn't play
ideally,
too bad.
it was 29 at half, and we gave them three field goals in the second half.
Yeah, and turnovers. I mean, the turnovers we had was really what made the difference. Because I thought the defense actually, for the most part, played okay. I mean, well enough. I don't know.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, it's so hard to continue to see the same things over and over again. I mean, their first touchdown was a crossing pattern.
Oh, I totally agree, Dan. There's no way we could have fixed everything in a month and a half. I agree. But at this point, I mean, I don't know how many more games we're going to win with the 4 opponents we have left. Minnesota, Wisconsin. I mean, you could say both of them have struggled or looked a little bit better. Who knows? But in Iowa, they haven't been great. They played a little better yesterday against maybe the worst team in college football.
Their offense is garbage, but their defense is going to kill us. I mean, that's.
And then Michigan's probably going to absolutely destroy us.
Yeah.
Because they can run the ball and play defense. So.
Yeah, again, I don't think as far as a fix that Frost. I mean, again, we can go back to what. And we talked about when Frost came on board, and they left a dumpster fire for Frost, but Frost didn't make any improvements at all on that dumpster fire. He brought in Adrian, who had a good freshman year, but never a winning season. And I'm not saying this is Mickey's fault by any chance. I mean, this is not on Mickey, but I do think the rest of the staff, someone like Whipple, the offensive coordinator with a lot of experience in that role, we're not creative enough. We don't do enough to help our team out. We know you cannot hold on to the ball for a long time. Get creative. We did a tight end screen to Chancellor Birmingham. We went like 27 yards or something.
We had like 3. It was 45, I think.
Shit.
And that was an awesome design play. The one to Ramir that he dropped, and the one to Vokalek that he got the touchdown. Yeah. But I don't know if it's they have more in their bag planning to use, but in case he gets hurt or whatever the case is. But you see these little flashes. But other than that, you have 2 horrible, pass plays, and then a 3rd and 15 where you just hand it off up the middle. Where, the spot in the field that we were at, you could have at least tried to screen or something, or even a play where you have Casey roll out, and if he has to, maybe he can get that first down, or at least get a chunk of that yardage. But just a handoff to just essentially say, all right, we're going to punt the ball, we're going to get no yards and punt the ball.
Well, I texted you about this during the game too. Is in the first half we get down in the red zone and we're on like the 12 or 13 yard line. We have an 8-yard run on second down, and then we did the exact same formation. The exact same guy went in motion in the exact same motion that he did in the play before. We did the exact same play, trying to run the ball in the middle. You can't do that in Big Ten football. They saw that coming from a mile away. Give it to the guy coming around, do an end around or something, but. Yeah. There's no creativity from the offensive staff when it comes to play calling, and I think that's what drives me nuts because the weapons are there. Alante Brown had a couple good catches early on in the game. Yeah. Vokalek is not used nearly enough. Our tight ends aren't used nearly enough. We talk about that every show. Ramir Johnson's never used. That just drives me nuts.
Yeah, I don't understand.
He's gonna leave. He's not gonna stay. He's not gonna stay. He's not getting used, and
and that's the thing too. I talk about how that drop that he had, but he's not on the field enough to have touches that, you just throw him out there for a play. He's going to, I don't know, it's really hard to say, but defense is, they're all right. They were going to run the ball 30 times with that kid, and they obviously did, and that's how they're winning football games. I don't know how they lost to Indiana, but because they should be undefeated. I'm not saying that they are good enough to make it to a college football playoff, but I think that they're better than us. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
They play kind of the football that we want to play, where you can run it down the other team's throat and play good defense.
Yeah,
and when you need your quarterback to make a play, he did. Or he'd run for a first down. So.
Yeah, and that's what I mentioned, like the deja vu. I just feel like we're saying the same things every week, and this was with Frost too. It's like on a repeat mode every week. Like, oh, hey, like, this is what messed up. This is what messed up. Again, I can point back to our defense and say, guess what? Our defense actually played better. But it was not. It wasn't the stop them every down type look. It was more of a bend but don't break. But when we got down to it, they weren't scoring touchdowns on us. I mean, that's not what.
And I mean, when our defense, created turnovers, we just turned the ball back over to them. So I mean, that's pretty discouraging too. For those guys, because I thought they actually played pretty well.
Yeah. Well, 4 turnovers and we lost by 17.
Yeah, I mean, we were in the game, but 8-10 minutes left in the game still.
Yeah.
So.
Jason, your question on Mickey, as of today, what would your prediction be, percentage-wise, that he's going to be head coach, or that there will be a head coach change at the end of the season? Sorry, I read that wrong the first time. I'd say 75%. I'd go higher than 65, not because I don't like Mickey. We mentioned this last week.
I'd say it's probably more than that.
Yeah, I mean, we're just not, I don't know, he doesn't have that experience as a head coach. I want to keep him on staff. I think there's a lot of potential there. We did have Dylan Raiola come back yesterday for an official visit. So, with his brother, yeah. So, I mean, there's things that Mickey can do. Head coaching, I don't know. I still don't know. I'm not saying he's a bad head coach. I just don't know if that's his role quite yet in his coaching career.
Right.
But I could be wrong.
I like him a lot. We've talked about it pretty much every week that we've done a show since Ross got fired or since he took over and kind of got him back on track, so to say.
Yeah.
I like him. I would really like to keep him on the staff. I mean, he got a Big Ten commit last week, which is kind of crazy that a coach like that would be able to get somebody in the type of spot that we're in. But I don't know that he's I've said that every week. I don't think he is. But I like him. I hope he sticks around.
I think here's another reason why, and again, it could be more than 75%. But here's what I think. Here's what I think William was kind of talking about here. Time for Lane or Monty Kiffin. Bring Monty back. Is Monty still alive?
I'm not entirely sure.
But I think we need a big time coach with winning experience. Whether Big Ten experience would be great. I heard a couple people say yesterday, like, "Oh, there's our next head coach on the other sideline beating Nebraska today." But I don't think it's time to have an experiment, if you will. And no offense to Mickey, this isn't time for an experiment. It's time to win. We've been losing for far too long. We are rock bottom, and the only place to go when you're at rock bottom is up. But we just keep scraping the ground, and we're not going to get lifted up off the ground. We're still trying to dig ourselves out of the hole
across the ground
with sharp rocks as fans. But again, I think we need a big name that's going to be able to bring in the recruits, get guys right away, and start winning. Again, we're guilty of it too. We're like, oh, it takes time. But then you see coaches come in and no, maybe Illinois turned around in 2 years.
They're 10-3 in their last 13 games.
Yeah.
And they beat Wisconsin last year. They beat Wisconsin this year too.
Yeah.
It's especially a school like that's never been good, or hasn't been since the early 2000s. I mean, they hadn't had a winning. They haven't been ranked since 2011. I mean, you can go down the line.
So Jason, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think if we don't hire him, we could lose him. Maybe he wants to stay on staff. I don't know, but whoever we did hire would have to want him too. So again, I think it's still up in the air, and we're not going to know anything until the season's over, which is not too far away.
That's right. It was so funny how that's all everybody's talking about. But take a look at those coaches everybody was talking about. I mean, Matt Campbell, Iowa State is last place in the Big 12. I mean,
he's too Manila.
What's it going to look like if we hire him?
He's too Manila.
People are going to lose their minds. I mean, Lance Leipold, Kansas started out good, but they lost 3 in a row, and they might not win another game. I bet they will, but
I don't think he wants to leave. He's been talked about multiple times, and he just keeps saying, "My family, I love Kansas. We want to keep building this program." Which you hear Coach talk all the time, but I don't know. I don't know if he wants to leave. He's doing something good down in Kansas for football, and that's something that they're going to keep him there if they can.
So I don't know who the answer is, but on October 30th, we still don't know. We didn't know on September 11th. We're not going to know until the end of the season.
I think we might know. Yeah, it's probably going to be. Depending on who it is, we might not know till right before bowl season.
It could be championship week or during bowl season.
I mean,
you're going to have to hire somebody with the early signing period.
There's coaching announcements before those bowl games and coaches don't coach their last game, which, again, I'm not a fan of, but hell yeah, I'd say Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, I would.
I think Bill O'Brien's a good dude.
I don't think he's going to come here. I think he might go somewhere else. And maybe Trev could talk him into coming here. I don't know.
Let's pick up one of those many Alabama coaches that go and coach elsewhere and have success. I mean, why not take Bill O'Brien?
I mean, the track record's pretty good there.
It is. But yeah, I mean, I just think there's a lot of names out there that I think are home run hits. I think there's a lot of coaches that could come in and have an impact early on because of who they are and because of their winning history. But if they don't have a history of coaching and of winning, it's going to be so much harder to recruit.
Right.
But their focus, again, what's their number one focus, Jimmy, in the Big Ten? What should it be for recruiting?
Offensive and defensive linemen.
Trenches. We have not had that. We haven't had that focus of big, mean, nasty dudes on the lines. I can't remember the last time we did Sioux. I mean, look at that crew in the early 2010s. I mean, other than that, when's the last time we had a big old nasty defensive lineman that's going to wreck somebody?
I mean, if you really look at it, I mean, I know Divine Ezigbo's kind of popped around in the league a little bit and played, mostly practice squad. He's cracked the roster here and there for a few different teams, but I mean, when was the last time we had a running back that's in the league? I mean, you're talking Rex Burkhead and Amir Abdullah. Well,
that's a long time ago.
And the offensive line was a lot better at that time. Yeah. And that's why those guys were good, and that's why they're still playing in the league. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens as far as what the next coach will be because, like you said, I mean, we have talent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could have somebody come in, but something on both sides of that offensive and defensive line need to change.
Well, and we know if Mickey goes, depending on who that coach is, we might lose some of those big names that we brought in on offense. Palmer's going to the league. There's no reason why he would play one more year. The kid's ready. He's got the size. He's got the hands. And he's got the knowledge, the skill set. He's gone, so I'm not worried about him. But a guy like Washington, I think, has the skill set. Maybe he'll go pro too. I don't know. He's just not getting any exposure, though. So I don't know. I mean, maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't. It just depends on who that hire is. But right now, I'd say, I'm about 75%. But next week, depending on how we do, that could change. But, I hope the boys can win, a couple more games. But it's going to be a real tough road. If we can win 3 more, that's great. But it's going to be tough.
Winning 3 out of the next 4 is going to be tough.
Yep.
So I'd like to be 6-6 and go to a bowl game. And that would be interesting to see what they would do with Mickey at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking beating 2 of our biggest rivals, or possibly a top 3, top 4 team.
Yep.
So on the road.
Yeah. So we get a QB that comes to Nebraska and turnover machine. Yeah, I mean, offensive line's a big part of it. And again, I think part of it too is we're not hitting all of our targets, and so he's not able to make it through all his progressions. So part of it's on Casey, but part of it is on our offensive line as well. And I think it's a combination of both. I think Casey's very talented. I think he's a good QB, but it's hard to see his skill set when he only gets to one target and then he can't scramble.
Well, and he's gotten hurt.
Yeah,
I mean,
again, why do we have quarterbacks that get hurt all the time?
Because he's hurt. So he's locking in on Palmer because that's his go-to guy. He's the fastest guy. You can go down the line. There's a reason that he's doing that. He doesn't have time, and he knows he can get the ball out to him, and he can make something happen. But
And listen, I know people will argue Logan Smothers fumbles too much. But Logan Smothers can move. He's mobile, and Casey, we know he can. He just doesn't. I'm sure Whipple's like, don't run. But they got to teach him to get rid of the ball. And then Chuba Purdy Chubb is a pocket passer. He's not very good.
Not
yet.
He had one run where he kept the ball and he looked pretty quick. It was in the second. Well, obviously it was in the second half. He didn't play the first half, but I was like, oh man, he could move. And then he did not move like that again.
Yeah.
And I mean, you go down the line of stats, but at one point we had 17 plays for 34 yards.
Yeah. But I think
I don't know that we had many more than that.
I think that's kind of a downfall of our offense too. Is any team that watches film knows that Casey Townsend's playing, he can't move it. He's not going to move out of the pocket very much.
Yeah.
So we just have to squeeze the pocket. Then he's screwed. because our offensive line isn't very good. So you look at it that way as a defense, it's like that's all I got to do is push their offensive line back and hope he doesn't get it off within like 2 to 3 seconds. If he holds it on longer than that, we're going to get him. And then you see Smothers come in, and we've seen him come in and run the option. We've seen him do some run plays, not necessarily yesterday, but we know he can. We know he can run the ball. Yes, ball protection is huge. He needs to protect the ball, but I'd rather have a quarterback that can throw and can move and not be that the defense doesn't have, the defense has to guess. And with Casey and with Purdy, you don't have to guess. You just know that they're not going to move out of the pocket very well or at all. And that is a huge downfall to our offense, which is why Adrian was so awesome, because he could run out of the pocket, and then he started getting hurt all the time. They didn't want him to anymore.
Yeah.
So
it seemed, and two, it just seems like we have a lot more 3 and outs, or maybe not 3 and outs, but maybe like 1 first down and then a punt. But we, they pinned us deep, so it almost kind of seems like that. We just don't really win the field position battle when we.
Yep.
I hate like throwing a deep ball on first down, and then you hand the ball off on second down for a couple of yards, and then you're looking at 3rd and medium or 3rd and long.
I don't mind if you do it if you've been running successfully, or if you got a couple first downs in a row, a couple runs here and there, a couple long runs, and then you try to go deep once. Like, I don't mind that, but
when you just get the ball on first down, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the progression of play calling as far as like we get the ball and we hand it off for a yard or none, and then it's like, well, now you're kind of behind the sticks. You got to start. And we're going to pass heavy anyway, and we start throwing the ball, and you're looking at 3rd and long, and then a sack. I mean, it just seems to happen a lot.
Yeah, and so, I mean, they had the ball for 38 minutes. I mean, look how long our defense is on the field. Like, you can't.
It's been like that every game, Jim.
And yeah, we didn't give up 400
yards. They
yards.
had the ball for even longer.
So,
Well, the other thing too, and I know Casey went out, so that it's a big change, but. We were out yarding them. I mean, we had more yards than like right at about their average yards per game we had in the first half.
Yep.
We had more average, the points they give up against in the first half. And then Casey goes down, and the second half offensively was just atrocious. But it would have been interesting to see if he would have stayed in that game healthy, and we played well enough on defense. I think we could have won the game.
Yeah. Again, I did
take away a couple of those turnovers as well.
Oh yeah, and Jason, kind of go back to your point about the turnover machine. I think again, you can look at the QB, you can look at the offensive line, but again, that's where your coaches come into play and get a little more creative, if you will, on the offensive play calling. We're changing things up a little bit. You run shorter routes, you're running crossing routes. I don't care what defense you are. Crossing route is not an easy play to defend if you run it correctly, and so. Mix some things up. Run some quick outs. There was a play where I saw there was a one-on-one on the outside with Palmer. Their guy was a good 12 yards off of Palmer. You do a quick out to him, and he just catches the ball with some room to run. Absolutely, no one else is out there. But those are some things that I think offensively we could get better at as well. It's not so much the guys on the field as it is the play calling. So as much as we talk about the offensive line, we talk about Casey and the other quarterbacks, but again, we did this with Frost. At some point, you got to start looking at the coaches too, and what are you doing to help the team be successful? Well, running the ball the same play twice in a row up the middle is not helping your team be successful. Running, having 2 first downs in a row and then throwing it 3 times in a row, not helping your team be successful. Like, let's change things up, get creative, because that's what defenses are able to read what we're doing, because they see it on film, and we don't change anything game to game. We don't make adjustments.
Well, and I like hearing what Kara says, because thanks for tuning in, Kara. It seems like we lost a little bit of heart. Can't count on big plays. It's almost like that's what we do rely on. It's like we rely on a big play to score, but that's not how you win a game, in my opinion. Yeah, big plays are great. Like a long touchdown is great, but especially when we get in these Big Ten tough trench type games, I mean.
Time of possession.
Wearing on that defense, keeping your defense off the field. We don't. It's like we either go really plain, like 2 runs up the middle, or back to back, calling the same play, or we just bank on a big long touchdown. Again, it's cool, but I mean, I get hyped for it when it happens. But then we're right back on defense. They go boom, 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 and just beat us up, score, and then we don't have a big play. We go 3 and out and punt. then you're putting yourself in a really bad spot for the rest of the way out. So
yeah, again, this is our 8th season doing this, and I think we continually say over and over again, just get chunk yards. Like, you don't have to get on first, or, second and 15. Let's say it's second and 15 after a loss, and you try to throw 30 yards downfield. You don't have to get half the yards back on second down. Get 6, 7, 8 yards, and then you have much more manageable third down play. You don't have to get all those yards back. And then we see the reverse side where it's like, oh, we need 6 or 7 yards on third down, and we throw it a yard or two short. So, like, those are the kind of things that you watch a lot of college football, even pro football, those guys aren't doing that. Like, and if they are throwing it in that position where you're a yard or two short, it's to a guy that you know is going to be able to extend the play. And so it's hard. And I feel like we've been saying this for years.
We have. That's what it feels like. Yeah.
Deja vu. Yes.
Deja vu. That's what we keep saying. Yeah, it's you're talking about like the chunk plays. Yeah, it's funny because I watch a lot of football typically anyway, but I just watching most of the rest of the games I watched yesterday. It just seems like we don't play like anybody else does. It's hard to say. It's hard to even say that.
No.
But I mean, even teams that are not that great, but they're playing a big time opponent, they look better than we do.
Yeah.
And it's tough to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and Kara, to your point, halftime adjustments again. Offensively, different quarterback. Apparently, Smothers was going to come out, and he only played like one possession in the second half, and then he didn't play again. So, I think it sounded like he was going to come and play the second half. But on defense, again, we only gave up 3 field goals in the second half on defense. That's not to give up 3 field goals, and we only get again 29 points is not a lot of points in a football game to give up. But on the reverse side, you got to score points. And we should be scoring 35-plus points every game. We really should. But we don't have. We're just not doing it. I don't know. We're not doing it.
Yeah, it's hard to even talk about because the talent's there. I mean, they were showing it during the game. How many top 25 recruiting classes we've had. I mean, the fact that we haven't been ranked into the top 25 because we haven't won games is why. But the fact that we haven't won the games to be in that spot is pretty incredible.
Yep.
So we need a new coach to break that shit
pretty quick. Yeah, you just need someone to really flip that mindset and flip that culture in that locker room to a winning culture, a team that is used to winning. These guys have lost so much. I mean, you see teams that, like in Alabama, they'll go 2 seasons undefeated and then they'll lose a game and guys are like crying. It's like, well, for one, stop crying. But 2, like, yeah, you're so used to winning games, you don't know what it's like to lose. Our guys know what it's like to lose and very rarely know what it's like to win. Like, that would suck.
And
that would really suck.
A very good example of that is when it was the Indiana game, when we got the ball and we were going to win the game and we just had to take a knee and we like fumbled it.
Yeah.
Like, what? We don't know how to even do that to win the game because they haven't done it for so long. So. And
there's just one guy I care about more than anybody else on the entire squad that I just really wanted this season to be the season they get to a bowl game. That's Garrett.
I was going to say
he's the one guy I wanted to have a winning season.
He was a beast yesterday too. I mean, he had a sack that they were like, oh, he got back to the line of scrimmage, so it's not really a sack, and it's like, yeah, it's a sack. If you watch the play, it was a sack.
Yeah, it was.
He's a beast.
The guy that plays with.
I really hope he gets a chance in the league because he deserves it, especially with how much he's had to go through on this team. Because he just loves Nebraska. He's a small town Nebraska kid, and I hope he gets a shot.
I'd love to see him at the next level. What else? Special teams. I mean, again, special teams wasn't bad. We got an extra point block, but I mean, again, that wasn't the difference in the game.
No, I mean, at that point they'd already missed one, so it was about even.
I don't think we had a lot of penalties. Do we have a lot of penalties? Let's see. No, we didn't. Only 3 for 30 yards. They had 8 for 72. So again, I think our penalties, our discipline has been better this year on both sides of the ball when it comes to penalties. And I think one of those was a late hit by Reimer.
Oh, that was really bad.
But, it's funny. My mom, I talked about it. She was so mad about it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, someone needs to fire up these guys. If it takes a late hit, just do it. But
it was really stupid because he was clearly out of bounds. You could tell he's somebody that he's a heart and soul guy, and he's leading tackler on the team. He missed a game. He was ready to play, and he was playing pretty well too. And it was just all the frustrations of probably several weeks just came out on that one play. He just threw that kid into the bench, and then he kind of got stuck in no man's land because he was like surrounded by bench behind him and players in front of him, and he couldn't really go anywhere. Yeah. And Farmer came in and kind of started tossing guys around to get him out of there. But
I mean, you can say poorly timed. Like, it is what it is. Like, we weren't going to win that game either way. I don't think that
at that point it really didn't matter.
But talk about the difference that Reimer made in that game, though. Like, coming in again, our defense was not terrible, and really only gave up 3 field goals in the second half. That says a lot about adjustments for one. But really, 20, their last touchdown was because
I think they only got 2 field goals in the second half.
Was it 26 to 9? Okay, so 2 field goals. Sorry, I'm thinking 29. Yeah, I got my nines mixed up on where they're at, which side of the field. But so 2 field goals. I mean, really, and they scored a late touchdown in the first half that really.
And that
we had a penalty.
That I think it was the Reimer penalty.
No.
It wasn't.
No. The first half we had a defensive holding, I think, or something that gave him a first down. They got a touchdown the next play. And that was a 3rd down defensive holding, I think is what it was. It was something on us. Either way, it was a 3rd down play. We could have kept them in field goal range. Then they scored a touchdown. Again, those kind of things. So that was a very untimely penalty. But really, I don't think our offense was going to do anything anyway. So.
Well, especially when they fumble at their own 23, 25, something like that. And then we turn around and did we throw an interception?
We had 4 turnovers, yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Too bad. 2 weak run plays and then an interception. I mean, when we're already in field goal range. I mean, in a game like that, you gotta get points whenever you can. And I know the guys, the announcers, they were maybe not really harping on Bielema, but they had 4th and 1 for a couple of times when they either punted or kicked a field goal, and that's just kind of the Brett Bielema style. Is take points when you can get them.
Yeah.
Play field position game. I mean, that's kind of a Big Ten type of.
It really is. I mean,
but they're like,
smart.
The analytics guys are just pulling out their hair right now because a game like this, 4th and 1, they're probably going to get it, and it's probably going to end up sealing the game for him, putting the game away. But he takes the 3 points. I mean, that's where I kind of like us to be, to where we can just rely on. You know what? We don't have to go for it. We just take the points. We're going to win the game anyway. It's hard to be on the other side of that.
Yeah. Well, and I think again, like, why with Bielema, again, when you know your defense is playing good, you can take a field goal there. Mm-hmm. You're not saying we need these extra points. You're saying if we get these 3 points, we're still in the lead. We don't have to rush. Our defense is playing well enough. We're going to get the ball back. That's a mindset that, again, I want to have as a team and as a fan for our team, saying like, oh yeah, we can take 3 there. We don't need to go for it on 4th and 1. We don't. They didn't have any 4th down tries, but guess what? We were 2 for 12 on 3rd down. 2 for 12, and they were 7 for 15. Those are the kind of stats. When you go back to just pure stats, like at the end of the day, they beat us in everything except they have more penalty yards, and that just you can't do that. It's frustrating, and so again, I think the discipline's gotten better, but something's got to change eventually, and again, it may not be till the end of the season we get a new coach.
And on that point, I mean, it's not on Mickey either. I mean,
no.
I know he's had a couple of bye weeks, and this is his team for the last month and a half or whatever. But that, to me, that's not enough time to really turn the whole thing around. I mean, a normal coach has the entire off season which is 9 months essentially, or at least 8 months to piece together your team the way you want it, plan for everything. Mickey's kind of just been thrown in, and I think he's done a good job of bringing that heart back to the team.
He's done a good job of keeping guys there.
Keeping guys engaged, and even keeping the fans in it. I mean, if you saw the stadium yesterday, I mean, people were fired up. We were ready to beat a top 25 team for the first time since Oregon in 2016. So I think he's doing a good job. As good of a job as he possibly can.
Yeah.
I think he is.
And I think people like him. I think everybody likes him.
I think so too. I saw people commenting after the game all right, that's it, Mick, you're done. And it's like, well, I mean, he probably is, or at least might be.
That's it. You're done. He's gonna be there the rest of the season.
Yeah, and he's gonna be there the rest of you're not the next coach, and if he's not, that's fine. I hope we can keep him as far as a position coach and a recruiter, but I don't think that harping on him does any good because I think he's an awesome guy.
No. Well, in the press conference, he's like, he's professional. He is coach talk, but it's not. I thought we were in the game. I thought we could have won it. It's more of, hey, we need to go back and look at what we were doing wrong and fix it. And
it's not making excuses. It's not.
Pointing fingers.
I thought that we did a lot of good things or whatever our coaches for the last several years have said.
He's pissed. Like, he's not happy. He doesn't want to lose. He wants to win.
Especially because this is his chance, and he wants to win. And when they don't win, then he's taking that as that was on me.
Yep.
So.
I got nothing else, guys.
I'm
it's tiring. I didn't expect a long show today. A little longer than I was thinking, maybe 25, 30 minutes. But we're done. I'm done. I think we're gonna call it a day. Appreciate everyone hopping on today, giving us your 2 cents, and listening to us bitch and moan and whine about our football team.
It's pretty deja vu. It seems like we did this the last time we did a show.
We did, yeah. No, it was 2 weeks ago. So.
Not drinking this month's been pretty tough.
Yeah, he gets to start drinking next week at the end of the season, so we'll see how that goes. But again, we do appreciate all you guys just coming in and checking us out, watching the show, commenting on the show. I know it's not easy for you either. It's not easy for us, but we enjoy having you here. We enjoy talking to you. We're gonna keep coming back, and talking, whether it's ho hum like it is today, or it's exciting, win or lose. We're still Husker fans until we die, and.
I was still jacked to go to the game, to watch the game yesterday. I was all excited.
And Jimmy, you missed out because this year the tattoo's not happening, but we'll get you.
That's true.
We'll get you.
We'll get you. It's not.
I owe a couple buddies a bar tab because it's not gonna be
what
good.
Was it 10-2? Was that it?
Yeah, I'm screwed. I gotta pay for 2 bar tabs, so it's not gonna be fun, but it will be fun. Just more fun for me because I'm gonna get them as drunk as I can, as fast as I can, then I'll spend all my money. So, and that won't be too bad with one of my buddies.
Oh yeah, that won't take long at all.
All right, well we're done for today, guys. Appreciate you joining in. Tim did win for Notre Dame yesterday. Congrats to them beating Syracuse. See if they can beat Clemson here coming up. So.
Yeah, I think that is this next week.
Yeah, I hope they do. Clemson's they're not as good as people think they are.
We should be able to beat them. And Georgia, Tennessee.
Yep.
Solid.
Oh God, that next weekend.
It is.
Be a good one. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that's all we got for today. Appreciate you joining. I'm Matt.
I'm Jimmy.
We're 2 Average Guys. I'm out. But cheers. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Next week.
Go Cowboys. We'll see y'all next week.